What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two guys that, let's face it, I'm kind of sick of being around them after being at the National for, 4 weeks? Out of how long were we
Feels
there?
like
Seems like a long time, especially when you're in Cleveland. But yeah, they are, of course, your friends and mine, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How's it going, boys?
I hurt everywhere.
Really?
My surgically repaired foot is having a time with it, but yeah, I'm sore. I slept in my bed last night and it felt so
Did you not wear comfortable shoes?
I did wear comfortable shoes. Thank you
okay.
to the suggestions on comfortable shoes. I really appreciate it. And for those who suggested it and then said they don't suggest stupid things. So I appreciate all of you people. But yes, I wear comfortable shoes, but my one foot is just so jacked up that it really doesn't matter. So I was pretty sore after, and not just from the show, boys, from the activities after the show. I was pretty tired from that too. So
well, you shouldn't have gone weightlifting after the show.
Yeah.
We were telling you to at least go light, but no, you're like, no, I'm maxing today.
Then you went for that 3-mile run Saturday morning. Like, what are you even thinking?
Did,
what do you mean Saturday morning? Every morning, EP.
Oh, was it?
Morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just shows how early you were up.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't see you.
Had his run in and back before we even knew. It was
and back to sleep somehow.
Yeah.
Back to sleep.
Thankfully, we were in the one nice part of Cleveland. So, yeah, it worked out.
That one nice block.
That one little pocket of Cleveland.
That pinball arcade, that pinball bar was awesome.
Yes.
That was the
coffee
highlight
shops
of the
were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything was great there.
Good times. So,
for sure.
Yeah, we just got back from the National. If we are, a little lower energy, that would explain why, because we give our all when we go there, especially to our fans, don't we, EP?
Most definitely.
Who we met up with, 1, 2, like 4 of them, was it? I think at the National this year. That's like 4 more than 2 years ago. That's really good.
That's true.
Yeah, it was wild.
Go ahead, EP.
I was just gonna say we met up with a bunch of people. People from Twitter and from the fans of our channel for sure. They're like High Pop Professor gave me his card. He's got a YouTube channel. Very, very cool. Penguin Sunburn, who we met, he actually gave me an extra one of these to give to Joe, and I totally forgot to give it to Joe. So I'll be bringing that to our fantasy football draft. It's from a Terrapin Tap Room from a bar down in his area.
Oh,
and
cool.
Just met with a bunch of people. Had people walking up and tapping the finger on his shoulder, or like at one point Mike Jones said, "Hey,"
on his show, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Then at one point, Mike Jones says, "Hey, I think somebody's trying to get your attention." I turn around, there's Penguin Sunburn, shake his hand, talking to him for well. We met Ben Fouquet, who got out of his beer line to come talk to us.
Yeah, really sorry
really
about
wild.
that, Ben. We owe you a beer. We definitely owe you a beer. But
yeah, we'll talk about the lines for food and drink on Wednesday, I'm guessing. But yeah, to get out of that line, especially, that's dedication, my friend. So
I felt bad for him. I legitimately felt bad for him, but I was very appreciative that he came over and talked to us.
And then on Friday, I spent some of my day looking for the card I was looking for, but then the rest of the day I spent looking at faces and shirts, trying to see Bargain Boxer, who I actually never got to meet up with. He was wearing the exact same color shirt as me. One of our Mike's Retro.
One of these right now, actually, I believe.
Yeah, one of those blue ones.
Yes,
blue ones exactly. Yes, and I had the exact same shirt on. I was willing to get a photo with him so badly, but it was a ridiculous sea of people. I can't believe that we met up with the people we met up with because of how many people there were. It was just insane.
Yeah. So ironically, when I ran into Bargain on was that Friday, right? So I ran into Bargain on Friday, and I'm hanging out with our buddy Mike Jones, and we were towards the back of the one room, and I hear Mike Jones goes, "I think that guy's trying to get your attention or whatever." And I turn, I'm not even wearing my Mike's Retro Trading Card shirt. He was, so we took a picture together. But great guy. I have his cell phone number. He told me he went to the show yesterday for like a half hour, and he had to go. I'm sure it was crazy on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was crazy on Saturday.
We decided not to go on Saturday because Friday was busy enough that I can't. I could. We just couldn't.
No.
We went Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but we left ourselves a chance to go if we wanted to Saturday. But yeah, I'm glad we got back on the road earlier because I had to drive. What was that, like 8 hours out of the way to drop Joe off? EP?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. Total
Sure
20-hour
felt
trip,
it.
like a 20-hour trip total because of the extra 8 hours.
Yeah. That's what he does. Yeah. When you're the intergalactic superstar over there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
No one pulled me aside to talk to me.
well,
Just
that's
saying.
what happens though, Joe. Like they
Intimidation.
feel like he's approachable. With you and I,
Okay.
of course, we're obviously
That's fair.
people that we're intimidating, and people are a little afraid to come up to us.
Yeah,
and with me, you never know. I might just be nasty. You never know.
Oh, there was proof, very much proof that you were not nasty. Ben said that in some of his tweets, and also you met up with some Twitter people too, right?
This is why I have to, continue to push the narrative that I'm not nice because there are too many people saying nice things about me. It makes me uncomfortable.
We've known you so long that take our word for it, people.
I'm not nice. I do nice
years
things.
worth of evidence.
I'm not nice.
Yes.
Just don't expect it from me. That's all I ask.
Right.
You might get it from me. You might not. But don't expect it from me. But yeah, I was finally, I don't know if people had been noticing over my shoulder. I have a new card there. We'll talk about that later. But I had a Michael Jordan Intense parallel card from Emotion there for the last couple weeks. And that card was taken to Cleveland and given to his new owner to go to his new home. K-Dub, I did the interview on his channel. He has a YouTube channel of his own, does some great stuff on there. And Kyle's his name. We finally met up. I got to give him his card. The great story about that card is when I did the interview on his channel, he told me that card was his Grail card. He was hoping to go to the National this year and buy one. And no more than a week later, at a local card show, the guy who runs our local card shop, Bill, he just threw that card down at me and said, "Here, you can take this. I got this in at the shop. It was trimmed a little bit and I can't sell it. And I'm afraid to give it to people because I don't know what they're going to do with it." So he trusted, that I wasn't going to try to rip somebody off with a card that was trimmed. And I was like, this is just too weird that, K-Dub just told me he wanted this card and now literally somebody's handing me this card for free. So I went back to your table at the show, EP, and I DM'd him and said, "What kind of condition are you looking for this Michael Jordan Intense?" He's like, "I don't care as long as it has a story." I'm like, "Well, I have a story for you." And I told him that the story and that the card had been trimmed. He's like, "Dude, I want it. I'll take it. What do you want for it?" I'm like, "I don't want anything for it. It's yours." He's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "I was given to me. I'm not going to sell it to you. This card was given to me, as dumb as it sounds. It felt like that was supposed to happen so I could get him his card." He asked me if we could bring it to the National and do it there, and I did. So I helped him get his Grail card at his Grail place. And I recorded a little video of it, might maybe post it at some point this week or something. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And honestly, he was so happy with the card. It made me, as surly and mean as I am, it made me feel good that he was so happy. Like, that was just a fun time. And EP, you did a great job on the picture because he's skinny and I'm not, but I didn't look too bad because of EP's wonderful photography.
I was going to say, EP witnessed this all go down. I was off in another part of the show. And when you said it gave you that, like, made me and you for a couple of minutes be a nice person, or however you phrased it, I didn't see that all week. And, I'm a little upset that EP got to see it. That Mike being nice for like 10 minutes. What the hell? You
could have come along. I mean, clearly after that, I had nothing left to give.
I said to K-Dub when a reference happened, I was like, there are probably a lot of people here walking around looking for their Grail card, really a hard card to find. And I said to him, there are probably some people that aren't going to be able to complete that quest. So it was really cool to see that happen for somebody. and also the way it happened and the story behind the card was really, really cool. I thought it was great. So
And he had a magnetic case and he put it
Yep,
in it,
yes.
and that card just went.
Yeah,
It was so
yeah.
beautiful in that case. So yeah, that was my time at the National. Did you guys do anything fun, Joe? Did you do anything at National? You took a Tom Brady card there for some reason.
I did. So I took my 2000 playoff contenders Tom Brady rookie autograph ticket, rookie ticket autograph card to Becket to get a reslab because it was in a, it was a scuffed up, scratched, even a little cracked case. I wanted to get a reslab, and so I pre-registered, went to Becket, stood in line for a little bit, dropped off the card. If you want to get your card reslabbed with Becket, you literally have to print out a form online, fill it out by hand, put it into a box, and just mail it. There's no like electronic, like, hey, this $15,000 to $20,000 card is coming to you. Like, so I'm like, I'm not doing that. I know I'm going to the National, so I'll just do it there. So I did it, and the reception was, we'll talk about that on Wednesday's show, but it was spotty to the point where I would pick up and I would get like a bunch of emails just right in a row. And I got like 4 emails from Becket that had been kind of in a holding pattern until they found a signal, and then they came through, and it was, we've received your card. Congratulations, your card is authentic. And then your card has been reholdered. You'll get a text when it's complete for pickup or whatever. Okay, cool. So I went and got it, and it was in its same white label. And I didn't think anything of it because I'm one of probably the few people who like the white label from Becket. It just takes me back to that time when we graded with them all the way back in the early 2000s. So what they ended up doing, I found out the next day, is they recycled the label unless requested a new, the new silver label for anything below a 9.5. I was fine with it. I wasn't going to have them break into that slab and relabel it anyway. There's only so many times I can handle scissors or whatever they use around that card to get it out of its inner sleeve. So I was fine with it, whatever. There was a fellow Brady collector who I talked on IG with quite a bit about Brady rookie cards, and he has a 7.5, same exact card that he wanted to get reholdered. And he said, hey, can you check with them to see if they'll do the silver, blah, 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 blah. So did that, messaged him. He came up the next day, Saturday, and he went to Becket. He signed in like I did online. He got in line, gave him the card. Gets an email from Becket that the autograph is not authentic.
What?
Yeah. Wait, was it originally? What?
It was the auto Becket slab.
Was the auto graded originally?
Graded a 10. The auto.
So they're saying something that they originally said was authentic.
Yes.
Wasn't authentic.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Correct.
Oh
wow.
So I said, I need more details. He's going to give me more details as the story unfolds, but I'm like, well, what is it, a fake card? No, they told him the card was authentic. So what had happened in my mind is either someone, like, the auto faded and someone tried to refill it in, or they were trying to, get some of the, like, the natural fades or smudges out of it, or someone wiped off the auto and re-autoed it. Right.
Too.
Wow.
And I looked at the auto and it looked fine. I didn't, I've seen the card several times of his, so I didn't think anything of it. So on the good side of this, Becket is going to make him whole.
Okay.
They said they are going to make him whole. Now, what that means, I don't know.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Like, he's going to find out an answer by Tuesday. So I don't know what they're going to do with the card if he says, no, I just want my card back, because at that point it's like, well, that's something potentially fake is out in the world. I don't know if he would send it to PSA for a second opinion or whatever, but I'm wondering if he does that, if then, oh, hey, we were going to make you whole, but you took the card back. So for me, I'd just be like, make me whole, whatever that means.
Right.
Find
Destroy
that,
the card.
then, yeah. So we'll see. It's an ongoing story. I should hear more about it here in the next couple of days.
He was the one that graded it initially, or not?
That I'll have to double check. I think he bought
Because-
it. He buys a lot of stuff graded, so I don't think he submitted it. That makes you nervous.
It
That
does
makes me
because
nervous.
Becket has a history. Like I know in the alt case, they have said in court that our guarantee is not transferable to somebody else. So
Right.
Beckett's a
Do you know-
crap company. So yeah.
I was going to
I mean,
wear
they
my
are.
Becket hat. I was going to wear my Becket hat for the podcast that I got from him. And now for me, it went off without it. Well, it didn't even go off without a hitch for me because I was expecting something and I didn't get it. Like I was expecting to get the silver label and the gold separate label for the auto, for the 10 auto. I didn't get it. And I was fine with it because I actually prefer that label. But in my head, I'm thinking, I feel like that's part of the reslab, relabel thing that I just paid for. But at the end of the day, my card looks great and it got authenticated again. But again, what does that even mean? But we'll see. But yeah, when I hear more information, hopefully next week I have some sort of a resolution from him on what Becket has offered. Hopefully they just offer him fair market value for the card.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you say make you whole, like what is the value of that card? Do you have an idea what a 7 with a?
And it's 7.5. So the
7.5.
8 that I have, a little bit less of an 8 sold for about 15 on what is it called now? Fanatics Collect. So for about 15,000. So 7.5 with pretty decent subgrades. I mean 14, 13.5 maybe.
Jeez.
So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. And the fact that the card's authentic, but the autograph isn't, just makes me think someone took a pen and tried to like trace over it to make it.
But they
darker
said the
or
autograph was authentic. And
Before it
now
was in the
they're
slab.
saying it's
Yeah.
not.
And now
So,
they're
like,
not.
Yep.
Right. So the
Becket
person
either
who looked
screwed
at it
up-
first fucked up. Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
the person now. Like
Look at now. Right. Exactly.
Like, how do we know that the person that's saying it's not authentic is right and the person
that's
that's the
thinking,
problem?
too.
You have two guys that both worked for the same company at different
Yep.
times. One said it was real, one said it isn't. Like, this is the problem, though, with autograph authentication. We talk about it all the time. Their
Yep.
opinions with two different people making a determination on the authenticity of something that they can't guarantee
Right.
either way. They're giving you their opinion, and
Right.
two people that work for the same company give you opposite opinions. Like,
From a pack pooled auto, too. Like
shouldn't
that's the
be
thing.
that
From
way.
a
Right.
pack pooled auto, you would suspect.
wow.
Again, I need to see the proof if I was him. But again, if I was him, I would just step away. Like if they offered me fair market value for the card, we'll see. I would just take it,
I'm betting
and
that
I
won't.
would be like, I'm gonna walk away. It'll
You
be,
th-
yeah. I'm interested.
You hope that that if a person's gonna say, well, this is not authentic auto, that they at least take it up the chain or take it to another person, say, hey, you get a second opinion on it if they're going to do something like that to somebody's card. But in this situation, doing it at the national, you wonder how many people are there. You wonder if that happened. Like I feel like that's a huge decision to make, to do something like that to somebody. Do those cards have on the back that this like an autograph, like this is an autograph copy of this card,
They
or is
have
it just
a stamp.
autographed?
Those cards are stamped.
Okay, so then
it's
that
like
card
an
was stamped.
authentic autograph
Okay.
stamp. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the
Okay.
stamp. Like
Okay.
So
again,
how do you
they're
fake
not
that
questioning.
card?
Right.
No,
Right.
the card's real.
I mean,
The
how
auto.
do you fake the autograph though on a card where it's the legit
An autograph
card
card.
and it's stamped? Like to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
like just looking at it, not looking at the autographs, just looking at the situation, you would think the likelihood of an autograph on the right card with the stamp in it being fake
Mhm.
is a lot lower than, a random like through the mail autograph kind of thing.
And he might have even meant, so I again don't want to put words in his mouth. I do want to get the full story from him, but he might have meant they said it was an altered autograph, which is possible as well. Just saying, oh, there's evidence that this autograph has been altered by someone trying to make it bolder. Completely possible too. So I mean, either way though, could you imagine the gut punch? Like I was nervous when I dropped mine off because in my mind at that point, as I dropped it off, it's a real
I wouldn't be
card,
feeling
auto.
a gut punch. I'd be ready to go after them and like, I need answers. Like, come on,
Right.
no, this is bullshit to me because you said it was real. You took it out of the holder. Now you're saying it's not real. So you clearly screwed up like how are you making this right for me? Because you're telling me that what you told me before was wrong. So, but this is the problem with Becket. They're not gonna give him the fair market value for that card. They probably don't have that much in their bank account to even give it to him. I'm not even joking. That company is a disaster, and they have money problems. They can't even pay the old CEO who screwed them royally to begin with. He's suing them because they're not paying him what they were supposed to pay him anyway. Just go away. Becket needs to go away.
That being said, the line at Becket pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of people going nuts over, like the loudest I heard anyone was someone pulling, I think, a Black Label Pokemon card, like doing a reveal. Like I was shocked at how busy Becket actually was compared to like CGC. I walked past and I didn't see anyone there, so I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, it's sports cards, maybe because they don't do as much in sports cards compared to non-sports. But yeah, I was surprised. PSA obviously was in line around the building, but and SGC wasn't doing grading. But Becket, I was really shocked at how
Becket probably had a long line because they were bad at getting people to move through the line quickly. Like there can be many reasons for a long line. Popularity doesn't necessarily have to be one of them. So, well, that's an interesting story, and make sure you get all the dirt. I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to know if he's there ready to punch somebody at Becket in the face. I would be.
I'm waiting for him to say, yeah, Becket cut me a check for $15K or whatever, and we have to like. No. I was gonna say, and then Mike will have to say, "Oh, that's good on them," and then C-Town Funk will be like, "How dare you defend Becket?"
Mike is just shoveling and piling on to Becket, man. Just shoveling and shoveling, keep piling it on.
They are
after
what they are. They have a history.
After he got that Griffey rookie from C-Town, he has been anti-Becket.
Becket is terrible. Becket is terrible.
Paid for.
And the fact that they said in court, their argument is that, that this is not transferable from the person who graded it because they're giving a guarantee to the person who graded it. So that's what makes me worry in this situation. Yeah. Plus, I know they don't have money, and plus, I know they don't pay people out very often. Like, there was a situation that just happened not too long ago where there was a card that a basketball player, I think it was like maybe a Michael Jordan PMG or something.
We talked about that on episode 1.
Yeah, we talked about that a million times, right? And who was the company that screwed up there? Becket, right?
Oh, sorry.
And who was the company that didn't make it right? Becket. It was eBay that made this situation. It was Becket screwed up. Somebody at Becket put the wrong label on the card, but we don't have to deal with any of this. That's not our responsibility.
Not to relitigate this one, but yes, Becket screwed up, eBay screwed up, and PSA screwed up. All three of those things happened at the same time, and the buyer was like, "I think I can get a PMG for $20,000." I mean, that whole thing was a shit show, regardless.
None of that happens if Becket doesn't screw up the label on a card that somebody took a marker to. Like, come on.
But speaking of,
you're talking about a company that's authenticating autographs that couldn't even tell that somebody took a marker on a card, and it didn't have precious metal gems, and it doesn't have a number. Like,
well, we saw, by the way,
be so bad.
That reminds me, we saw people selling PMGs at the National with no numbers.
Yeah.
I like trying people watch out, and they were selling them for like cheap. So I totally see people thinking, "Oh, holy shit, look at this deal. Watch out, be careful, be vigilant."
Oh, there are some people I'm sure that saw that the red PMG saga, that Michael Jordan PMG saga, and they've been coloring their cars like, I'm gonna have a bunch of PMGs at the National. You just wait.
No, but the no serial numbers are a thing. So but people sell them, and I think people who buy them have no idea. Like, that's not a legitimate PMG. That's a backdoor copy if there was one that needed to be replaced. So it's crazy. Before we move on to other national talk, I bought another case of Fleer Ultra Wolverine in case anyone was curious. If you're looking for Fleer Ultra Wolverine cards, let me know. I have another case worth. It was a fun time. We ripped it at the Airbnb. Got some cool cards.
Aren't we going to talk about this in the section where we're talking about the national?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you just wanted to get that out there again.
I did. I mean, they're so popular on the channel. I had to mention it.
Man, he had the itch, man.
He did have the itch.
You guys aren't helpful. You guys weren't helpful in that whole situation.
I had nothing.
I admit my part. I admit my part for sure, 100%.
Nothing.
EP's like, don't be a little bitch, man. Go buy that case.
No, he was like ready to dive in the pool. He's sitting there like hunched over. I was like, you know,
and
if
EP
you don't
just
do
walked
it,
past and went,
if you don't do it, you're probably just throwing money away anyway. And so next thing you know, we're making a beeline.
All right. Well, let's get into some news here this week. Big news coming out of the National last night. Burbank Sports Cards has agreed to move its entire 40 million card inventory to Fanatics Collect. They will not be on eBay. They will not be on Becket. All their cards will exclusively be on Fanatics Collect. Like, exclusive deal. They're going to be shipping all their own cards. Their cards won't be going to the Fanatics Collect vault, so they'll still handle the shipping. Rob Barris, the owner of Burbank Sports Cards, said that he anticipates his staff to grow from 25 to 50 like after this deal. Nobody out there has reported any kind of a money exchange, but this clearly has to be Fanatics paying them to move the stuff there, because Rob Barris's comments about it was, well, it's kind of a leap, but we feel confident in taking the leap. I feel like, I feel like Fanatics is clearly paying them to move their inventory there, right? That's where the hobby is at. Their Fanatics way is to throw money at stuff until it works, right? That's how they usually do it. So
Mike, insert a hungry hippo thing where the hippos just keep eating, because that's what Fanatics says. We're going to talk about this probably the whole show at this point. Like, Fanatics is eating up the hobby, and it's like, hey, this is what people like EP want, and we're fine with it, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But it's a shame, because I bought from Burbank, and by the way, what was the guy's name? The owners?
Rob Barris.
Nope, it's the Card Father. Come on, he has a shirt.
You asked for his name, not his nickname.
No, that's his name. I think it was legally changed.
So his nickname's Rob Barris.
His nickname is Rob. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay.
I think I saw him at the Fanatics area. By the way, it didn't register. I'm like, oh, I think that's the Card
Breaking
Father.
news: Joe Day was eavesdropping on.
I heard the whole transaction. But I bought cards from them from eBay. I bought cards from them from Becket. I don't have a Fanatics Collect thing, but if you're trying to complete sets, like low end sets, want to buy a card for 99 cents, there's such a good option that I might even create a Fanatics Collect ID just to have an opportunity at the 40 million cards, because I do like to complete sets to then list them on eBay, and I used them a couple of times for it.
Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for both companies, I think. And I do agree there's probably some sort of financial thing, or maybe they get even a better deal on the fees or whatever.
Oh, if they're even charging them fees.
Right.
This is a financially, this is a financially advantageous opportunity for them, or they wouldn't be doing it. There's no way you're going from the largest selling platform where you've done really well on to a small one like that if there isn't some kind of guarantee of money. The people out there that are the new investigative news people, like Collect, like Darren Ravel, need to get to the bottom of this, because even on Collect, they just had about it. Nobody's talking about any kind of financial terms that there clearly have to be. So I want those people to dig up that information, but keep going.
I was gonna say it's beneficial for both companies, I think, because you're getting what's it called? Fanatics Collect. They're getting a massive inventory right away. They're getting a huge seller who, like, when I am pricing cards by low end stuff, I'm scrolling through all the listings to find the Burbank listing to see, and I use the Burbank listing to figure out, well, if they're $1.69, maybe make mine $1.75, or maybe $1.65. But there's kind of like the baseline that I go on. Depending on the player or the kind of set or whatever, I might go up a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but that's kind of like the baseline. So them not being there that's gonna make my job for selling these lower cards a little bit more difficult. But I think a lot of people probably do look for that because Burbank, they have this huge inventory. They sell a lot of those low end sets, like Joe said. They do that, and I think the marketplace is getting this huge influx of cards, and they're getting cards that people are looking for. And Burbank is there's no doubt they're getting a financial deal on it. So
do you see the happiness and joy in his face? He has low dollar cards and Fanatics together.
Yes,
in one
it's
world.
a perfect storm for EP right now.
This is his Valhalla
fever dream, EP fever dream right now.
But I mean, it is great. Like PWCC always had a lot of higher end auctions and stuff, so they have a lot of credibility in that space. But clearly, to be a competitive marketplace, you have to sell the Burbank cards kind of stuff. So I'm not blaming Fanatics for going out and doing that.
It's going to get more people to sign up for it.
Yeah,
more people are going to.
I'll probably sign up for it.
I was actually thinking about the last PSA order I got, sending it there just to try it out to see, and I might still do that. And yeah, this is a good thing. One of the things I saw, I think Sports Collectors Daily was the first one. I know Collect had about it too, so I don't know who got it out first, but none of the YouTube content creators did. It was Sports Collectors Daily's tweet. But I was reading the comments, and some of the people in there, like one person like took a screenshot of eBay's like net value and like, I think they'll be okay. And it's like another person's like, oh no, now I won't have to see all their $4 cards on eBay. And it's like, you don't get it. All the people that complain about eBay's fees, I've been saying it all along. I buy and sell like musical instruments and stuff. There is a huge marketplace called Reverb. eBay charges like 5% less fees for musical instruments because of that platform. If Fanatics Collect can become a real competitor to eBay, and these two companies are fighting, we know that Fanatics will be willing to give lower fees to get people to bring their cards over there. That's going to make eBay lower their rates, what they're charging you in fees. Like, this is a good thing. Competition, a huge marketplace where people can actually go and buy all kinds of cards. If you want $1 card, you want a $10 card, you want $1,000 card, they're all in one place. That's what eBay is. If there's another one out there, it's going to benefit everybody, even if it is Fanatics, right, Joe?
Yeah, I said I think it was last week, I said I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't support PSA getting into the comic book business, even though I'm not a huge PSA fanboy like a lot of other people are. So the competition, what are we saying? People aren't PSA fanboys now. But the competition in that space is good. I think Mike's agreeing there aren't PSA fanboys. Competition in that space is good. So competition in the Fanatic space or in the low dollars card space is good too. You got to compete against eBay. You got to get them to there. Some fees are up to, like, depending on the price of the card, like 14-15%. It's absolutely crazy. So if Fanatics comes in and are charging less, maybe it scares eBay a little bit. I don't know how long that'll take though. Like how, will DC sports cards have to go over to Fanatics Collect exclusively? Like, what's the tipping point where eBay goes, shit, we need to lower fees to keep people on? You know what I mean? Like, it won't just be Burbank. It's got to be another big
needs to be a number of them. But
right,
that's why, like, when you get a Burbank, then you have other people that go, oh
shit, Burbank.
Right. So wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what just happened?
Think about that. And
yeah,
they may also offer deals to some of the other bigger sellers like that.
Yeah.
DC Sports may be, another one that does it. I wouldn't be surprised that this is the first. That's their MO. That's how they do things. If they can throw some money at something to help get their platform up and running and make it serious, I'm all for that in this case, because somebody has to do that. We've said all along, it's going to take a big company with deep pockets, and if they decide they want to do it, then somebody can actually do it, and then eBay will have to react. And let's hope it ends up with lower fees for everybody.
Well, that's one of the things here I think about this is that them like kind of going all in, right? Kind of saying, listen, we want this to work, but by making this deal,
serious about it. That's what I like.
Yeah. It seems like they're serious. Like, well, one of the things going back to we said it earlier at the very beginning of this. I work for a newspaper, and if we have reporters that write a story based on a press release, they don't get a byline on. We don't put their name on it. That's not a real story. That's that's just PR. You're just doing somebody else's work for them, putting that PR out there. We need more details. We need somebody to actually write a story about it, do some reporting on it, make some phone calls instead of just taking the press release and running with that. And I think we see a lot of that in this space in sports cards, where all we get is the press releases from the companies that we're just sharing more PR. We need actually people to look into it and see there probably was a financial deal. I'm guessing there'll be more financial deals if they are actually going all in, pushing all their money into the center. Maybe we'll see more of that for sure.
I'm curious to see. I'd love to know what Burbank was being charged by eBay, because I know a lot of consigners don't pay what we pay in fees as individual sellers. So I'm curious if, the big companies leave and eBay's like, well, Fanatics isn't going to give a great deal to Joe, EP, and Mike, so we can keep them at 13. That's my concern. It's just a way for Fanatics to lure the bigger consigners and bigger sellers, and then it doesn't filter down to us common people trying to just sell a couple of cards here and there. So I don't know. I'd love to know. You're never going to find out. No one's ever going to tell us, but I'd love to know what eBay was charging Burbank and the DC sports cards and places like that of the world versus what Fanatics is now charging them. I'm curious on that.
I think one of the simple things they could do for the low end people, but Burbank, I'm sure probably has some like mid range stuff, but I'm guessing it's a lot of lower end stuff. You just eliminate that 30-cent fee for sports cards. That makes a huge 30 cents for every transaction. That doesn't cost the eBay anything on higher end stuff, and we keep a lot of the lower end people there. That would be one thing they could do. And I don't know if that's something if that is one of those deals where like Burbank was already getting that kind of deal. And if maybe they're not getting that, that kind of deal somewhere else, maybe that's one of the things for the bigger end, the bigger sellers. But that would be an interesting thing to consider. That would make a huge difference for low end sellers.
Fanatics definitely wants us to send our cards there, though. You're not investing the money to have the bigger ones come over just to sell it, because you're actually paying them money probably to sell on your platform. So they are doing that. So we see that they're there and go, oh, well, if they're selling there now, maybe I should try that out, because like they have said they want to integrate their Fanatics Live with Fanatics Collect, and they need collectors and people selling as many of them as they can on their platform. So I don't think you really have to worry about, the fees. Like eBay will be forced to drop fees at some point when they see the numbers come from here to down here for listings. If Fanatics Collect is able to get everybody to go over. But I mean, typically I think we're pretty much the common collectors. So if we're sitting here thinking, well, I was thinking about trying that, I'm sure there are a lot of other people that are. So depending on how it goes with it.
Yeah, people who have Burbank as a saved seller are definitely going to go over to Fanatics Collect, and they probably
people that are selling, though, people like us considering like I'm considering sending cards there before this news. Now after it makes me feel even more confident, like I definitely want to try it and see how it goes. And I think there are going to be a lot of other collectors do that, as long as what they're offering ends up working, then I'll make the people that try it happy, and they might stay there if they're making more money.
When Fanatics pushes eBay out of business in the card world, they can just jack the fees up to like 50%. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, everyone.
Don't think you're ever going to see them push eBay out altogether. So
fingers crossed.
eBay's not going to let that happen. So, all right. Well, we talked, 2 weeks ago, I think, about the ridiculousness of people trying to search packs with a CT scanner, right? I thought there was no way. Joe convinced me that, you know what, it is actually a lot more possible. Plus, I didn't know at the time you could buy one for like $1,500 a machine. Like that, seems really cheap.
Or 500 a piece as we figured out the math.
Exactly. It'll fit nicely on the table back there.
Yeah.
But there's a company now that actually was advertising a pack searching service. I cannot make this crap up. This is our hobby. This is how it is now. $75 a pack. How in the hell is it going to be financially feasible for $75 a pack? It's all high-end stuff. But
yeah,
for 1 to 5 packs, $70 a pack for 6 to 10, or $65 a pack if you're gonna get 11 or more scanned.
We should undercut their prices once we get ours in.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to. We're gonna be like half that.
Yeah.
But
plus, our scanner is gonna be way better and more accurate.
Definitely. and this has to stop. Like,
it's not going to, because this is not a new thing. The scanning thing is a new thing, but because the thing you sent us was Pokemon, right? They were talking about Pokemon cards a lot. They've been weighing like in the open, weighing Pokemon cards for years. Like, people sell specifically heavy Pokemon packs. Like, it is not unheard of to walk into a card store or walk into like a bigger, consigners.
But the difference with that is, there's something, but you don't know what. And now with pack scanning, you can go, oh, this one has a foil
it's just the next level.
In it. Like, this is the top level. This isn't even the next level. This is like the final level of, oh, let me see exactly what this is before it's opened up. Like, if you had money invested in high-end product, I would be really worried right now, because if this actually is a thing, I'm still not totally sure how widespread it is.
You were thinking it might actually just be a scam telling people that they can scam, right? Like
a scam within a scam within a scam.
A scam within a scam, like
it is the hobby. That's totally possible. Right. I don't know what it is, but if it is actually a legitimate thing, that's going to kill the prices of any high-end wax. Nobody's going to have any faith in, oh, that's a $5,000 box. Okay, I'll buy that because I could get. No, you're going to go, I'm not paying that because there's no way I'm going to be able to get something. Like, this is ruining the hobby. This might be the last, nail in the coffin for it, isn't it? Like, this is too far. Yeah. Not that everything else isn't also really far, but come on.
It just doesn't even affect me anymore. Like, nah, whatever. It's just another thing now. It's ridiculous.
That was my reaction. Like, half of me was like, I don't want to say enraged because that's a bit much, but half of me was like, that's gross. Like, we are giving the ship bags more ways to do ship bag things, right? That's one of the things.
He is cursing.
And then, so that's part of it. But then the other part of it was like, do I even care? Has this been happening for 20 years already anyway? Like, are people what this just seems like Mike said, like another step, like maybe this is the very top of the pack searching thing, but this is like taking pack searching which so many people already look at as like this gross thing, and then it's saying, hey, why not do it more technologically? Why not do it better? Well, let's help you be more of a ship bag, be better at being a ship bag. And it just seems like this hobby is not for us anymore. Like, there's so much of this stuff out there now, and it's like being normalized, and the people are saying it's okay. Like, that's the part that really bugs me about it.
So my pushback to all this is, this will never affect us, right? This
sure,
part will never
not
affect us, because we're not opening up cases of flawless, even though maybe we'll talk about something that Mike opened up at the National, maybe. But we're not opening up a case of flawless. We're not buying Pokemon from 1999 sealed stuff. Like you said, it's probably going to hurt people who have been hoarding like high-end wax to keep sealed to get the value. Like the Josh Lubers just opening up Luca's rookie Prism boxes, like searching for the Black 101 or whatever. I don't care if he loses money. Like, okay, have at it. Like, I doubt something like this will ever filter down to where people are scanning, Fleer Ultra Wolverine boxes or something like that. This is, unless the price comes down on the scam of the scam, I don't know if it's ever going to affect people just opening up packs of cards normally. Though
Well,
with Fanatics taking over, maybe I don't know what the price levels are going to be if it does encourage people even at the lower end to do it. I don't know.
well, this is only the first service. When more
Right.
are out there,
Yes.
the price
When ours comes out there, the price,
Yeah,
the
absolutely. We're
competition
gonna
that
cut it
we
in
bring
half
to the
alone.
market, right? That's
Half,
all.
dude, $25 a pack. Are you kidding me? We're gonna be rich dudes.
like, do they not? Do they? I wonder if they consulted a lawyer because the
Sorry.
legality of this. Like, I feel like you're leaving yourself open if you're providing a service that will allow people to defraud other people. Because if you look at me right here, if you get stuff scanned to take the good stuff out and then knowingly sell the other stuff to people, you are committing fraud, and that's a crime, and you could get in a lot of trouble for that. Just saying, understand that part. People like think, oh, well, I could do this. It's all just like, imagine if the slot machines at the casinos could like just never pay you any money out, but tell you, oh, you have these odds of doing it. Like, that casino would be closed pretty quickly. Now we have people doing all this stuff and people out there thinking it's okay. Like,
Mhm.
oh,
If the
we
card
need
companies,
Paul to come on, the hobby lawyer to
yeah.
come on. I'm sorry, we need him to come on. I'd love to hear his thoughts on this because I agree with you, Mike. But then I also think back to the question that you had for us, like if someone opens up a case of cards and they pull the best card out of box one, like the case hit, what's their obligation to say, hey, I pulled the case hit out of this, here's the rest of the boxes, and I'm going to sell them for a markup or sell them at
but you don't
market
know
value.
what's in the other
You don't
box.
know, right? Exactly. Like,
where in this
again,
case,
it's
you
like
know
it's like
exactly
taking all these
what
things to
isn't
the
in there.
nth level, right? It's taking
Yeah.
all of them and just shoving it in your face.
If every card company did not call their lawyers, their legal department immediately upon finding out about this, if they're not drafting up a lawsuit this morning, Monday morning, to be sent out like immediately to this company, then they are, I don't know, then they're complicit in this too.
None
right?
of the card companies are going to care about it.
Because they'll still sell the shit on the secondary market. And it will make people want to buy it more to possibly run the scanner.
But it ruins the integrity of their odds and like that sort of stuff. Like it ruins the integrity of the company, doesn't it? If there is no randomness to their boxes,
what
to
integrity of their odds are left to be ruined?
I was going to say, what integrity is left for any of these companies? I guess you know.
What Fanatics had an auditor come in as like said that they made it look like there was no, what was the loaded boxes that
right.
But then you found out after the fact that they were saying that they could set it up that they didn't know. Like what it wasn't what it was given to us as. The companies don't care. They just don't care. They're selling it though. Well, we're just selling it to the people. What they do with it after they get it is beyond our control. But if they were worried about that stuff now, like you'd kind of be worried about how a manufacturer also owns a breaking platform, and they could send all kinds of special stuff to there because they're the manufacturer, and the odds of people winning on this platform would be different than the other, which
it's very monopolistic. Yeah, I know.
It's not monopolistic.
That's bait.
Not monopolistic. Imagine if a casino was doing stuff like that, like had the ability to just again not pay out the odds that they're saying they are. Like so they're not going to care. Is the bottom line here.
And this went from being a holy shit, how crazy is Ziggy, and I can't believe Joe Day would agree with it. Mike, you jumped on board right away though. Like some of these conspiracy theories turn into real things, and it makes the crazy conspiracy theories get legitimacy.
I had no idea how, like in my mind, those things are in a hospital. So if I would have had the knowledge that you could buy one for $1,500, I would have been like, oh yeah, everybody's been doing it then.
Right.
So well, hopefully the manufacturers will just put everything like in lead solid 8 thick, 8 inches thick of lead or something like that.
Then all the collectors in the world end up with hot lead poisoning by the time they're like 70.
Yeah, they'll be fine. All right. Well, we talked about it a little bit. We went to the 2024 National in Cleveland, Ohio. A nice little 5-hour drive for me here in Pennsylvania through scenic Western Pennsylvania and not quite as scenic Ohio. Yeah, fight me out there. Yeah, but we had a good old time there, even though the show was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But
yeah,
I thought we could talk a little bit about what we bought, our overall perceptions of the crowd, what was going on, what we did after the show. Good times. Did you buy something there, Joe?
Because Wednesday we're going to grade some of the things at the National. So
definitely. Wednesday we're going to hand out our final scorecard for the National. We're going to break it down into 10 different categories. We're each going to give you our score for that, and we'll let you know how it was. But in general, we're going to talk about our experience, just our experience here.
Yeah, like you said, with the exception of it being in Ohio, Cleveland specifically, it was nice. Our Airbnb was nice. Again, we found that little pocket. Had a great time. So to your specific question, yes, I did buy stuff. So the first night I bought one box at Dave and Adams of Fleer Ultra Wolverine, and I bought one box of what's that?
There's a shock.
Yeah. And I bought one box of Flare. I have to admit, I was impressed by the artwork of Flare. I wasn't super impressed with the stuff coming out of it. It was a fun-ish rip, but it was nowhere near as fun as Fleer Ultra Wolverine. And our buddy Mike Jones, it might make the channel at some point. We had a little box battle. I'm not going to tell you who won, but no, I'll give it away. You just have to see how bad that other box was. That's all you need to know.
He just can't stop gloating about it long enough to even let people watch the video.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Spoiler alert. And then the next day, so I bought that box for what was it, boys? Like $230?
$230, yeah.
$230, which was what they were going for. It's what you could get them online for and this and that. So I'm like, I'm here. I'll buy one. Then we go, and I'm over at another table, and Mike goes, Joe, they have Fleer Ultra Wolverine over here. I'm like, I don't want to buy another box of it. And Mike goes, but it's only $195 a box. I'm like, wait, what? I thought you missaw it. Maybe it was Avengers from last year. Maybe it was Midnight Suns. No, it was Wolverine.
Credit.
I know, but it was such a cheap price. Like, I'm like,
do you know how many of those videos I've had to edit and put up on this?
I know.
You've Ultra Wolverine when I see it.
You've definitely let me know. But yeah, $5 a box. So I said, oh, okay, maybe I'll get one more box. And he goes, oh, we have a second one over here. And then the other guy goes, well, we have a third one over here. I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna have to buy 3 boxes? And then the guy goes, well, you could also buy an inner case if you want 6 boxes. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, we have an inner case. I go, oh, okay, well, and I'm doing the math. He goes, well, technically we have the full case. And I'm like, oh my God. And I look, and there it is, $2,340, $195 a box, inner case. And I was like, let me think about it. I'll think about it. I'm walking around the show, and then EP basically called me a bitch if I didn't get it.
That's not.
And I said, I think I'm going to go get it. So went and got it. So I bought another box. So I opened up 13 boxes of Fleer Ultra Wolverine while I was at the National. That is what I spent that and card supplies and Becket fees to get my card reslab. That is what I spent my money on at the National.
Wow. Amazing. It was an amazing experience.
We had a lot of fun opening it up. For sure.
I was sitting down in the VIP lounge talking to Paul Lesko, and the other guy that was with us, Mike Jones, came down like, yeah, Joe's coming with his case. I'm like, what? Last I knew, you were thinking about maybe buying half a case. And he's like, come on. I don't even know how this happened, but at some point from when you left me and I went down there, you just went all in. And
Yeah.
I'm
Not
not
all in
surprised.
though. I'm kind of regretting not buying those 3 other boxes. I'll tell you what, folks. For those of you who watched me open up the case on the channel, we didn't record this. We recorded the one box.
We
battle.
didn't. Don't worry. We're not going to have 20 more videos coming out.
I mean, all of our viewers who love them, I apologize. I wanted to open up something privately amongst friends, but I was bummed out then after I opened up those and did very well, even much better than my first case. I was like, shit, I should have bought those other 3 boxes, because we went back and they were sold out, because they were the cheapest ones by far that were selling them. So it was a fun experience. Some nice pools there.
It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun being there as the cards were being ripped, and then you and Mike sorted them and everything, and you got some pretty good cards.
Mike Lutz was nowhere near collating.
right.
Come on, be real. And let me point out that Joe wasn't going to open any of it in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Then he opened a box because he felt an itch, which turned into opening 6 of them after we were at the show, when we were back at the Airbnb, and before we went out to have a little bit of entertainment. And then after we go out and had some drinks and played some pinball, then you came back, and then you ripped 6 more. You ripped all of them there when you were going to rip them.
I'll tell you what, we were all pretty drunk, and then EP kept feeding us more drinks as me and Mike Jones are like ripping these boxes and sorting the cards. But yeah, it was definitely a fun experience.
My one question to you, Joe, is when did you decide you were opening up that second half case? Was it before you even walked out the door to go to the pinball bar, or was it like during the
It was at the donut place. I'm like, yeah, maybe after this we'll go back and open the rest of it up. It was an okay half case. If I would have gotten that half case, I would have kind of been bummed out. But the other half case was ridiculous.
The cards were packed in like inner cases, so there were 2 inner cases, so it was easy for him to stop after only 6. He had to actually physically open up that second 6.
Right. That's so funny to say it. Are we talking about Marvel stuff after this, Mike? Because I don't want to step on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Coming up next.
Okay.
So EP, how did you do there?
I had a blast. I had a great time. Everything was fun. I'm gonna shout out to Mike Jones again as well, because he was the one who, well, first off, he gave me my beer for the day. So.
We're only allowed to refer to him as Jones here because I'm
Jones.
Mike. You're going to confuse everybody with
all right,
Mike stuff.
Jones,
I'm Mike
Jones. So Mr. Jones gave me that beer. It's delicious. He also found a card for me, the 1976 Spider-Man sticker card. And there's a little bit of story here. So I was looking for that card. There's not a ton of that kind of Marvel out there in a lot of cases. There were a couple of cases here or there that had some Marvel stuff, but not a ton. And on Friday, I ended up finding this case that has 3 of these sticker cards in the case, just up in the one corner, just 3 of them. And I said, hey, do you have the Spider-Man to the guy? And he's like, we sold that one yesterday for $120. It was PSA 8, I think it was.
I think you said it was an 8, yeah.
Yeah. So he sold it for $120 the day before. And so I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, man. I was like, do you know any other dealers here that have any of these? And I said, it's difficult to find these. And he said, just give me, give me a couple minutes. I have a list I need to get for some customers anyway, just for some stuff. And so we walked from where his table was, which was, I believe, in the small area where the manufacturers, that sort of stuff were, out to the main area. And we walked through like probably the length of the entire building to get to this one stand that had one binder among a bunch of other binders, one binder that was all Marvel stuff. So like he said, so he's like looking through for his kind of stuff, and he saw a couple things, and he said, okay, and he folded it up, and he said, okay, here are where the stickers are. And so he stepped back, and he said, I have to stay here to talk to the guy anyway. So I leafed through, and there was none there. I was like, oh man. So I figured for sure, if it wasn't in there was no way I was going to get it. Like, this was my last hope, because there are so few of these out there. And so again, there was Marvel stuff out there, but nothing, along these lines. And then you guys were trying to contact me, trying to call me or whatever. And Mike Jones had spotted this card, right? And you guys went to find.
I'll give Mike Jones credit for buying that card for you.
Okay, I got you.
100%. No, we were at this table, and he found this table, and it was just an absolute amazing table. It had just such random stuff. all like piles like this big, all in for the most part, all in the card savers, like sleeves and card savers. And he found these stickers. Batman, there was some Star Trek, and then he found the Marvel ones. I'm like, oh shit, which one did EP want? We'll talk about the cell reception there, but I'm trying to go on YouTube to find the video you did that Mike used that picture or that card is the picture for the thumbnail. So I'm looking, I can't, I'm like going like this. Mike Jones's phone was better. So I went and looked at his and we found it, and we're scrolling through all these. There was like probably this big of a pile of stickers, and there were 2 of that one specifically in there. And, that one was the way better looking one. And he negotiated with the guy he bought a little stack of stuff, but yeah. And then he presented it to you. Like, look at him being such a nice guy.
And paying $20 for that card. That was the card that I was looking for there. So I mean, I'm getting that card for $20. So
yeah,
very excited.
Who wasn't a nice guy? Him. Because he took off with that guy. You and Mike Jones were somewhere, and then I'm left in the busy part all by myself. Like, I'm never gonna find these guys again.
Right, especially like we'll talk about it Wednesday. I'm not
I
gonna
did
complain about it again. But
I did ask if it would be okay, and I knew you were gonna say yes, even though it was probably not. Like I was gonna like you could have tagged along, but that would have been very boring.
I was not walking all the way back over to the other side.
It was so far,
building.
dude.
No,
just so far.
No, I you know, you're my friend and everything, but it was not that big of a value for me to walk that far when we just came from there to begin with. So
right,
yeah.
Oh, and the people. Oh my goodness, there were so many people. Wednesday night wasn't that bad. Thursday was a nice day. It wasn't super crowded. Then Friday hit.
Oh,
madness.
Wave of humanity.
That is a gigantic building that had a lot of people in it. And I can only imagine, we didn't even go Saturday. And I've heard that Saturday was even more packed. And I was just a little too much after Friday. Especially when you were able to maybe look at things definitely on Wednesday and on Thursday. And Friday, it started to become difficult. Like, even if you're looking for a card with all those dealers there and all the people there that are looking at stuff, it's hard to find it. You might be 10 dealers that have that card you want, but you might never get a chance to really look in that right spot. And I was looking for a Phil Mickelson card, and I'm sure somebody there had that card, but I didn't find it. And I became very clear to me part way in that I'm not going to be able to look at everything, and I probably won't find it. So
if you don't find what you want Wednesday or Thursday, the odds of you being able to find it on Friday or Saturday have to be wildly diminished because
that's why
the sea of humanity of people there.
Yeah, that's
and
that thing too. I mean,
to Mike's point too, we were at me and Jones were at the Mealy Pops place where I bought that case, and I went and told him, "Oh man, that was a great case." I told him some of the stuff I hit, and he was genuinely like, "Oh, that's awesome, man." There's a guy who has like high-end Marvel stuff. You might be interested in some of it, yada, yada, yada. And he goes, he's over by the Breakers Pavilion. We couldn't find him to save our lives. Like we looked at every table, and I'm sure he was there. Mealy Pops probably wasn't lying to me, right? But we couldn't find him. There were just so many people there.
I think me and Mike actually saw that when we were back at one point. But
there
there were so many. But there were so many people. There were many people standing too deep at that table, like all the way around it at that time. It was madness in there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And you never found Card Dealer Pro either. We were looking around for that, couldn't find that. So yeah, it was a big show. I mean, not that that's anything out of the ordinary. It's a big show. You're not going to be able to find everything. But I did find that. This was my big purchase, my 96 Skybox EX Kobe Bryant. Look, that is a beautiful 8. I'm so happy to have that card. It's in a nice case. Got the little national bumper that BCW gave away. That thing
you could throw that.
For that.
Throw that.
Nope.
Don't just chuck it.
No.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll
Yeah,
get it.
the case won't be affected. Who cares about the card inside?
Don't care about that. But
Yeah.
I was happy to find that. I found a couple 9s. I'm like, I'm not paying that price, and I finally found the 8.
$1,000.
Beautiful
How much was
8.
the
So I'm
9?
very happy with that. They
1,000.
were $975 and $1,000. The 2 that I saw on. I didn't even look at a couple others.
What's the
People
saying? The
keep them
8s
mad
are
about
great. 8s are
Yeah.
great.
8s are great, especially with that set, and it's a beautiful 8. So I'm very happy with that. And of course, I bought some wax for an upcoming pack sale because that's what Mike does, right? Mike is always looking for stuff like that. And I may have bought one other thing.
Yeah, I alluded to it. I believe you might have to tell the people.
Yeah. I bought a box of immaculate WWE.
Yeah.
You've had such luck with the high end Panini with WWE products, so I mean I
I
can
have,
understand why.
yeah. So that was my irresponsible purchase of the trip. I didn't even record it for the channel because I figured it would be really bad. It was actually a decent box. I'm not totally gutted by what I got out of it. I got some decent cards, some that have some value to them. So I did a lot better than a lot of other boxes that I've seen in breaks, but I didn't hit anything big. But we were at the National. I wanted to do something irresponsible, something I wouldn't normally do. That's what I did. So I had a lot of fun doing it. It didn't take long to go through the 6 cards that you got for
It took
$500.
slightly less time than me opening up 12 boxes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit less. Just a little bit less.
No.
But
yeah, great time. I mean, there are complaints about it, but at the end of the day, we enjoyed ourselves. We had a great trip. We played a lot of pinball. We drank some adult beverages. We just had a good, responsible time. And all our viewers will be glad to hear that.
Yep.
You guys done with that now?
Okay. I think so. At one point, EP did do the fireball dance. Mike, you can put the video in here if you'd like.
You don't have to.
And then at one point, he just threw himself on the floor. No idea why that happened.
Twice.
Yeah,
twice.
The bruise there.
Yeah. Well,
the second time was to prove that I actually did throw myself on the floor. I didn't fall down.
Was to prove.
Yeah.
And he's like, at one point, he presented 3 beers to me himself and Jones in a baking pan, like he was using it like a tray around the car, and they're sliding as I'm opening up this case of cards. And Jones is like,
control.
Jones goes, "Stop it!" He made him like back away. He was security for me all week. Jones was security for me all week.
All right. Well, some other potential news. There has been a rumor going around for a while now, and it seems to be gaining steam. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, nobody is going to be surprised, in my opinion, if this happens, but it looks like it could potentially be the Marvel license going from Upper Deck to
Panini.
Yeah, right. No, not Panini. I got that wrong. It's Fanatics. Yes, there are rumors that Topps might be taking over the Marvel license very soon. I know, Joe, some of your comic people, when the announcement of all the DC stuff with Upper Deck came out, were a little concerned about this, and nothing confirmed yet, but there are a lot of rumors going around that, again, this is a really small little hobby. If there are rumors going around that this is happening, it's probably happening, right?
Yeah, this was the second biggest news to come out of the San Diego Comic-Con, I think. Check the videos, kids, if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it sounds like it's like fait accompli at this point. Like, people at San Diego Comic-Con were saying, yeah, this is happening. Like, Upper Deck people at San Diego Comic-Con were saying this was happening. Some people posted stuff on their Twitters. They got their information from people from San Diego Comic-Con. Big shout out to I like to give credit where it's due. Big shout out to Spidey Hits. Justin put up a video about it as well. It's just a real bummer because I made the joke about the hungry hippo thing. Like, Fanatics is just this, like, it's Galactus just eating worlds at this point. Like,
yeah,
like no more Fleer Ultra Marvel products, no more Marvel Masterpieces, no more Marvel Metal products. And it's a real bummer. Like, okay, they'll do Topps Chrome probably, but like they do Star Wars stuff. I get that, but it's, they have sticker autographs and it's just all like chromium products, which are fine in some instances, but not every single product. And I'm really bummed out about it. I'm happy that Upper Deck at least has a DC license. That was the reason when we were giving advice to the companies of a couple of months ago at this point. I said Panini should buy the DC license. And I said, I don't know if Upper Deck has an issue with contractual issue with Marvel or not, that they can't have the DC license. And then when they came out and got the DC license, I was hopeful that they could do both. And then again, smoke and fire. A lot of folks were very concerned that meant they were losing Marvel. I'm bummed out. Like, can we not just have nice things? Can we not? Does everything have to be a Topps product? Does everything have to be Fanatics? I'm not going to give the bait about it. I'm not going to throw out that bait, but holy crap. If it's not, it sure feels like it is. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, these exclusive deals of we know a time in the hobby when everybody all the companies made baseball cards, and they all meant football. The exclusive deals are really rough. They suck. Guess you made the Galactus reference and the Hungry Hippos. You guys ever played Katamari Damacy, the Japanese game? It's a Japanese video game where you are a little alien and you roll a ball around, and that ball gets bigger and bigger as it sucks in more things. So it starts out you suck in right. You suck in like paper clips, and then all of a sudden you're sucking in paper. All of a sudden you're sucking in geese, and then all of a sudden you're sucking in giant buildings and stuff. And that kind of when we started talking about this, I kind of think about it's like this. So it's really really crazy in my opinion. And I had another thought, but my battery is running dead on my laptop, so I'm gonna plug it in.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I thought I had been plugged in, but it was not. Anyhow, I can't remember what my last point was because I got distracted.
My point is, I agree, Joe. It's really disappointing, especially because the history in Marvel is with the Fleer brand and all that good stuff in the 90s, and Upper Deck owns all that IP. So them being there was a good fit. It's like almost like Fleer never left. Like Fleer was still producing Fleer Ultra.
Hell, even Impel. It's like Impel never left.
Yeah, like Impel to Skybox to Fleer to being owned by Upper Deck. And, Upper Deck bought Fleer, the rights to Fleer names and stuff in 2006. So this has been like a continuous thing. And it's not to the level of Topps not having a baseball card license anymore, but there's a established history of the Fleer name and all that stuff with Marvel stuff. Like, don't forget the Marvel owned Fleer for a while there. And just there's a connection there, and that being gone is just really disappointing to me.
So you wonder though, my last point was just going to be like the smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation, where I was listening to the Sports Card Nonsense podcast. The one host, Jesse, asked Mama Breaks, who's I think one of the insider breakers of Marvel products, and she's doing a lot of influencer type stuff with Marvel products. And he asked her, "Do you know? I've heard this rumor about Marvel license being sold to Fanatics. Do you have any comments about that?" And she just stayed silent. And that's just another one of those examples where, I mean, this clearly is about to happen. But also, I did hear, this is on a different show, like maybe this is them saying, okay, Upper Deck, why don't you just sell to us? Why don't you just sell the Upper Deck brand to Fanatics? And I could see that happening too. They did that with Topps, and I could totally see them doing that as well. And I realize that doesn't make you feel any better. Joe, I can see you shaking your head a little bit there. Doesn't make you feel any better, but I mean that is also I think a possibility. It's a possibility that at least a lot of people are mentioning and talking about as a possibility.
And that would be absolutely terrible. It's like, oh, SGC is its own company. Sure, it is. I don't know. It's frustrating because, like you said, Mike, like a lot of the sets I mentioned have been through the years. I mean, Marvel Masterpieces started in 1992. Metal was back in the early 90s as well, early mid 90s. Like, And it's not a situation where they're going to sell those brands to Fanatics, because I'm sure A, they're going to use them for their DC products, but B, jambalaya is not just a Marvel thing, right? Like there are jambalayas in their sports products, and some of the EX Century, like, so unless they did sell their entire company to Fanatics, like, again, I'm not going to throw out the bait, but if they buy Upper Deck, then it's like, what are we doing? Like this is the hobby, probably for the better part of the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Fanatics is
Us for sure.
our
Us
company.
old guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even the young guy, me. I mean, I'm only 43 for a couple more months. Like,
Math is hard.
yeah, I know.
You're only 40. You're round down.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, for another 20 years, until I'm retirement age, Fanatics is going to be my company for cards, and it sucks. So I hope that they don't buy Upper Deck. I hope I can buy some Fleer Ultra Superman and some Batman and not be lining Michael Rubin's pockets. That's my hope.
I don't see the value in them buying the whole company. Like they don't need it. They
Right.
have their brands. They're just going to they might go after the NHL license, because they are making the jerseys now, and
Been saying
they're
that for
actually
months now.
Fanatics branded NHL jerseys
Mhm.
starting next season. So they have a working relationship, although the NHL says that doesn't matter, but
Yeah, money
we'll
doesn't
see.
ever matter to corporations. I'm sure it won't. Like it's just
Never, yeah. That I'm assuming this will be done by the end of the year, because Upper Deck was announcing that the DC stuff would be later this year, the end of the year. So
they haven't been announcing hardly any new
Yeah.
Marvel products, and they've been churning out releases
a
too.
lot.
So I don't.
It is very
Hopefully, we
disappointing.
still get Avengers Metal. That's the one that I'm hoping that they still produce, because that looked like a really cool set. But I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, maybe at some point Michael Rubin and Fanatics will run out of money, because Michael Rubin is looking to sell $1 billion worth of stock in Fanatics, because their revenue has stalled and has decreased across the brand. So they might not have an endless flow of money. Things aren't as rosy for Fanatics right now as people might think, and he's $1 billion worth of it. The guy's only worth 11 point something billion. I saw in the article about this, but
So ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
it probably went down a little bit after the white party, because they're a little.
I was going to
expensive.
make that a similar joke to that, but EP, when Mike, when you said he's going to sell $1 billion in stock, unintentionally, EP looked like this. And I'm like, is he looking for $1 billion right now? Like, is it next to you? Like,
you don't have to buy it all, EP. You can buy smaller chunks of it.
But I'll tell you what, he can keep taking a loss or hitting like breaking even or whatever until he owns the world, and then he can charge whatever, right? Like that's how big companies do it. That's how Amazon did it. They bought up all these small companies. They took losses, and then when they were the only show in town, guess what they did? They raised the prices. Like that's how corporate America works. So sure, he's going to sell $1 billion in stock, and he'll probably buy it back in a year or whatever. It's just, I don't know.
All right. Well, I like to every now and then have you guys try to guess some things about grading and grading totals. I found, this was put out by GemRate this week, a list of the top 50 graded athletes of all time.
Caitlin Clark.
I thought it might be fun to try to guess some of these and guess maybe where some other people are on this list. So do you have guesses at who the most graded athlete is of all time? You better know what this is.
I think number one is easy. No,
Caitlin
Jordan.
Clark.
Michael Jordan is number one.
Michael Jordan is number one with 2.07 million cards have been graded. You want to try to guess 2 through 5?
Mickey Mantle, number 2?
No, he is number 7.
Griffey.
Grifty. Grifty is number 2.
I said Griffey. There
Nice.
might have been
Sounded
there
like
somewhere.
Grifty.
It's like
Yes, he's number
Cleveland.
2 with 992,000 graded.
Wow,
LeBron-
like over 1 million less than Jordan. That's crazy.
Yeah.
LeBron James, top 5.
LeBron is number 3 at 904,000.
Is there any football players in the top 5?
Barry Sanders.
Not in the top 5, no.
Really?
Okay.
There's another
Wow.
Yeah, that doesn't
basketball and a baseball.
And it's not Caitlin Clark.
It is not Caitlin Clark. She did not yet make the top 50. Next month, probably. EP.
Wemby is in the top 50 for sure.
Top
He is
50,
in
yes.
the top 50, but that's not what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I'm asking the top 5. You need to guess 2 more. Basketball player.
Steph Curry.
No. Different basketball player. Played for the Lakers.
Magic
Oh,
Johnson.
Kobe.
Oh,
Thank
Kobe.
you,
God,
Joe.
Jesus.
EP, like
I was thinking. My brain was in historical players. So trying to think of who might.
Kobe
be
is
on
number 4 at 835,000, and number 5 is a baseball player.
Shohei.
Very good, Joe.
Wow.
God damn it.
Baseball
My
expert.
back is killing me, EP.
651,000. Where do you think Zion Williamson is in the list of top 50 graded?
Top 10.
Top
So
25.
6 through 10.
He is
22.
number 9 with
Oh my God.
501,000.
The poster
cards
child of the
already.
pandemic, baby. Poster child for pandemic rating.
Okay, where do you think Victor Wembanyama is? He's only played for 1 year.
25.
I'm going to say 15.
No, he is number 24
Oh, good
all
job.
time with 280
All time.
thousand
Or all time.
1 year.
in
Jesus.
one
Might have had
year.
some what's that, Tops U or whatever.
Is
Bowman.
Trout in the top 25? Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. Yes, he is number 11 with
Mm-hmm.
468K. Nolan Ryan's actually number 10 with 490K. That surprised me a little bit, but Nolan played for a long time, so he has a lot
1,000
of
years, yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
still make cards of him and put him in
Right,
products.
Derek Jeter was 6th, Mickey Mantle 7th, Tom Brady
Oh, my
is
boy,
8th.
Tom.
He's
Yeah,
8th,
Tom Brady. Yeah.
and the highest football player. Who do you think the second highest graded football player is?
Barry
Mahomes.
Sanders. Oh, Mahomes is a good guess.
Joe Burrow.
Really?
He actually has 341K. He's 17. Justin
2020
Herbert.
pandemic.
Justin
pandemic.
Herbert is number 18 at 328K, and then Mahomes at 19 at 325. So they're all bunched together there, but I'm kind of surprised.
Is Tua also on the list of the top 50?
Oh, do not
Since-
see
'cause
Tua on
okay.
here at
I
all.
was
Because of that
thinking-
year, yeah. Right.
Yeah,
The
that's
2020.
why Burrow's so high. The
Right.
pandemic. It's like
Mhm.
everyone grading during the pandemic or right after the pandemic.
Who do we think the highest ranking non?
Tiger Woods.
There you go. How,
I knew what you were saying before you said it. Is it Tiger?
what number do you think he's at?
That's a good question. He doesn't have a ton of cards, I don't think. But they produced that one out to oblivion. I'm gonna say 34.
I was going to say 35.
33. You guys are on point.
Good.
With 219,000.
Yeah.
Since EP was bringing up Barry Sanders, he is in the top 50. Where do you think he's at?
49.
47. I feel like if he wasn't one of the number 2 football player.
If he's not top 5, he's got to be number 50.
Gotta be in the bottom 5.
Well, no, with
He
all those
is-
other guys we talked about.
He is number 42 with 185,000, just ahead of Wander Franco. Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
not aged great, and neither have his dates. So
There are, oh, come on.
That was really good, actually.
There
That was
are
really good.
184,000 Wander Franco
Wow.
cards.
and a lot of tears associated with
A lot of tears.
So Serena Williams is having cars to be on that list, right? She'd probably be the most graded
No.
women's athlete, probably.
Oh yeah, is
But she's on the list.
there a woman's
Yeah,
athlete
she
on
is
there?
not on. There is not a women's athlete on the
Hmm.
list. So LaMelo Ball is actually number 50 as well.
That sounds right.
Not a woman though, Right.
Not a woman.
Yep.
Well, we don't know. Maybe. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. We went pretty long this week, but we had a lot to catch you up on. So
Yes.
we had to let you know about the national and all the other happenings in the hobby. But I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm losing my voice. You know, my back hurts. Oh, my hair is falling out. I don't know. So we better wrap it
Luckily,
up.
we
there.
don't have to record again until Wednesday.
Yeah, luckily.
True.
Whew.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. All right, guys. That was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios until Wednesday.